And now Europeans our allies, much more vocal because they're feeling the brunt of a lot of this in their criticism. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz offering a strong rebuke of the Trump administration in public comments yesterday. Speaking at a school in central Germany, Merz said, quote, "The Americans clearly have no strategy when it comes to the war with Iran." He called the entire operation ill-considered, to say the least. He said he's unsure what strategic exit the United States could take at this point, adding Iran is obviously negotiating very skillfully, or rather, very skillfully not negotiating. The German chancellor adding an entire nation, referring to the United States, is being humiliated by the Iranian leadership. Caddy K, obviously Europe, though not involved in this war directly, is feeling all the impacts on their cost of fuel, on their cost of food, on their cost of fertilizer. This war is impacting them, and now leaders are being much more vocal in their criticism of the Trump administration than we've seen them on other matters.
Yeah, because Europeans are feeling the impacts because of high gas prices, because there's a lack of jet fuel. Lufthansa, for example, has had to cancel thousands of flights coming up over the summer. That's the German airline. So the Germans know what is at stake here. I mean, we're in a situation where there's a kind of game of chicken going on between the U.S. economy and the pressure that puts on the president and on Republicans, and the global economy and how long that can withstand the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump said on Sunday, well, the Iranians have only 3 days before their pipelines explode because they've had to shut down production and the pipelines are under so much pressure because they're still full of oil. That doesn't just sound like a scene from a Tom Clancy novel. It is literally a scene from a Tom Clancy novel. Although a former U.S. intelligence officer told me it's silly. Of course they know how to shut down production. They are not 3 days away from their pipelines exploding. But the White House is trying to put out a message that the Iranian regime can't withstand this economic pressure. They may still have 3 to 4 months of availability that they can put up with this kind of shutting of the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think the global economy, and clearly the Europeans, and I think that's where the frustration you hear from the German Chancellor is coming from. Germany, of course, has been actually one of the most closely aligned European countries with America. They stood out firmly in favor of strikes against Iran initially, very close to Israel as well. So it's striking that that comes from the German leader.
Yeah, we've seen a real change in the dynamic here, the relationship between the United States and Europe. It started, President Trump, since coming back to office, has been taking pot shots at Europe, but it feels like Europe found their voice and their footing, willing to hit back earlier this year with the situation in Greenland, when President Trump flying to Davos, and there was a real thought that he might land and declare war on Europe in order to seize that island. And we have now seen since that moment, and it accelerated because of the war in Iran and, of course, the ongoing struggle in Ukraine, more and more European leaders find their voice in being willing to hit back. Trump's critical of them. They're now doing the same. Zelensky repeatedly of late feels like he's abandoned his quest to be Mr. Nice Guy, to cozy up to Trump. Now the German chancellor, the French Emmanuel Macron, has done the same of late, telling President Trump, hey, you don't need to speak every day. So I'm wondering here, this is going to be more and more of Europe trying to hit back and saying, look, we can't count on you. We don't need you.
Yeah, saying the quiet part quite out loud. So we got a lot to get to this morning. Still ahead, we've got Congressman Ro Khanna joining us. He's going to have the latest on the Epstein survivors and plans for them today. Also the latest on Jimmy Kimmel and Donald and Melania Trump, the president and the first lady, calling for him to be fired. We'll have the latest on the new charges filed against the man accused of trying to storm the White House Correspondents' Dinner with guns and knives. Plus, some Republicans are using that incident to push for legislation that would use taxpayer money to fund the president's ballroom project. It appears not everyone in the party is on board with that. And as we go to break, a quick look at the traveler's forecast this morning from AccuWeather.
I just got to say, how stupid do they think we are? They blast out a statement. All of these people mindlessly throw it up. They're all vomiting Donald Trump's words out throughout the day, right after the shooting, for a ballroom, and we're going to talk about it. But King Charles literally lives in a palace, and he goes out and does events every day. And that's what would happen here, too. The president wants a grand ballroom for a legacy.
And he wants you to pay for it.
Don't try to tie this tragic event to that, the two are completely separate because there will never be a White House Correspondents' Dinner in anybody's White House.
All right.